Corla, the economic commentary around COVID-19 can at best be described as depressing. There is no doubt that we are, as a country and as a people, facing a monumental task in getting our economy, our society and even our lives back again, once we pull through the worst of this health emergency. We also need to be conscious of the fact that if we talk down confidence, we will further undermine our ability to recover and rebuild new communities which are fairer for all. So even with these dire economic warnings, we must provide hope. Hope has a powerful role to play during times of great uncertainty. We need to see a plan that gives hope to employers and workers, to the self-employed and farmers, to families and to older and young people. We need to make it clear that whatever decision is made on lifting restrictions on the 5th of May, they will be taken not just on public health advice, but also on mental health and wellness and economic advice. We need to open our country, however, we must do so responsibly. As a first step, government should list specific businesses that can open under certain conditions. But we must go further and allow people to act in a responsible and mature manner themselves. This is allow those who can clearly demonstrate social distancing to go back to work. There are many who don't fall neatly into any category, but because, for example, they work alone, pose minimal risk. There are other jobs where several employees can easily comply with social distancing. However, this should be conditional on them placing a yellow notice on the public access to their workplace or business, outlining exactly how they are complying with the social distancing rules, and on that notice provide the public with a contact number to register a breach or complaint with, say, an organisation such as the local authority or the Health and Safety Authority or a combination of state agencies. After such heroic efforts by every citizen in this state to stop the spread of this virus, we cannot allow a second wave of infection under any circumstances. So if people breach these rules, they should be shut down immediately and face a stiff fine. And government must now take on a leadership role and clearly state that people returning to work or those meeting people outside of their family should cover their mouth and nose from this point on. What I'm talking about is face coverings, not medical face masks, which we all acknowledge are currently in short supply. We're all conscious of the fact that it won't simply be a case of business as usual from next month, and that we have to find new ways of doing things. Social distancing will present challenges which are unique to each industry, profession and business. And now is the time for those people to start planning how they will be able to reopen safely when the time comes and what will become the new normal. Businesses and employers need to start looking at their individual strategy for reopening now, not on the 5th of May. For example, Supermax has already decided to reopen some of its restaurants where they can safely apply social distancing. Others must follow. When it comes to rebuilding our economy, I believe that this must be done through a COVID recovery plan. A plan that will take up to 1 million people off the unemployment register into a new economy that works for our people, not an economy that just works our people. The Finnish government have put it very well, calling it an economy of well-being. In the economy of well-being, public resources are allocated for improving people's well-being. Well-being means that people are healthier, more innovative and productive, and they work and pay taxes. We have a golden opportunity to reinvent our economy, but we need both a new decision maker and a new decision-making process to make this happen. Firstly, the public needs leadership, and that can only be provided by a stable government with a clear mandate, and this needs to happen quickly. While the caretaker government, working with public health officials, have brought us to this stage in the management of the COVID-19 pandemic, To progress to recovery mode and provide certainty to the Irish people, we 8 regional independent TDs believe it is now imperative that we move from talking about government formation into real and substantive talks on an actual programme for government. And in tandem with a new government, I'm suggesting as part of that programme for government, we establish an independent COVID recovery squad of, say, 4 people made up of innovative and experienced Irish men and women. These would be people who have stepped back from their roles as business people, entrepreneurs, financiers and academics, and who want to give something back to our Republic, something that will last for generations to come. They would take a day or 2 a week to look at the merits of a proposal that not just come through the traditional policy avenues, but from business people, innovators and our citizens. People who have a different perspective on providing solutions to age-old problems. As TDs, we are already receiving innovative suggestions, like in the past the gathering in 2013, but we now need a new way of assessing these and a new way of looking at and tackling the problems. The COVID Recovery Squad could look at a proposal or solution, or put forward a call for solutions to a problem and give their view directly to government. However, the current interim government does not have the luxury of sitting back and waiting for a new administration. It must, in the short term, act and act decisively. An immediate step must be to minimise the need for people to physically return to work by setting out key practical measures to support a national remote working strategy. There are huge opportunities for Ireland to become a global leader in remote working, which would attract new foreign direct investment into our regions and even into our villages. This could offer a real opportunity to deliver jobs for rural Ireland and breathe new life into communities throughout our rural communities. Government must set a target of transitioning to an economy post-COVID-19 where remote working makes up 30% of the workforce by 2030 across our public and private sector, including IDA and Enterprise Ireland supported companies. The question has been answered for companies if remote working can be done. The challenge now is to sustain it and ensure it is managed so that productivity and employee engagement is positive. This would start today by government delivering clear guidelines for employers and employees on remote working and simplify the process of establishing remote working employment. The new approach must provide meaningful tax incentives for employees and employers. The feedback that I have received from the current revenue e-working allowance is that it is unwieldy to apply for. This must be streamlined with immediate effect, and we must look at the value of this incentive. In the example on the Revenue website, where an employee works for 90 days from home, the total amount claimable, if they were to do so directly, amounts to €43. This will not incentivise the type of change that is now urgently needed. And while on the issue of regional job spread, we have to do our utmost to protect the jobs we already have in regional Ireland, in agriculture and farming, tourism and within Bordnamona and the ESB across our Midland counties. These sectors cannot wait for a new government. We need to see action now to protect our family farms and our workers, some of whom need to be provided with alternative, decent work options. We need direction from government now, not next year. There is a long road ahead of us to recover from the effects of COVID-19. But this is something that we can do together as a nation. We have tackled many problems in the past, and with the right approach, we can do so again. We need to encourage innovative solutions and find new ways to incorporate them into government policy development. If we do this right, we can have a practical and profound effect on the future of our nation, our economy, its people, and the generations to come. There is no doubt that the road to recovery will be a long one. It is critical that we start to plan now for an Ireland living with and an Ireland living after COVID-19.